When I tell people that we plan out almost an entire year worth of projects, they think I'm absolutely insane. But I want to share with you guys today how we do this as a team, because I personally used to completely wing it in my coaching business. And while it did definitely help me get the ball rolling, I took a lot of messy action, which I think is definitely needed when you first start your business, or just in business in general. Messy action doesn't hurt, especially to pick up momentum and to really follow your intuition. But at some point I was tripping over myself. I had so much momentum without any organization that I just could not keep the ball rolling. And honestly, my business almost, or actually did kind of implode. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about project management and how myself and my team are able to plan almost a full year out, or even sometimes we can look at our bigger vision almost like 3 years out, and we're able to plan what every single year's objectives look like, what our 90-day projects look like, and then understanding what our goals look like every 30 days and our weeks look like. I'm really big on being able to execute, and I really want to keep creative flow, I really want to keep organization, and I really want to be able to execute. So how are you able to execute more? You're able to execute more when you have organization. It allows for you to have more time back so that you can actually flow. What I find is that a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners, they get completely stuck and tied to their business. What ends up happening is they get a lot of overwhelmed, they feel like they always have a million things going on, and they have a really hard time keeping track of everything that they're supposed to be doing. So I definitely caught myself in this hamster wheel as well. I was doing my outreach over here, I was trying to book sales calls over here, I was trying to do client check-ins, content, I would book a sales call, it'd be all over the place. And so I felt like I was never really organized. But the big thing was I was doing the in the business tasks that were just my day-to-day, while also trying to do the tasks that were on the business. So first, let's just get really clear on what these things are. In the business are those things like your client check-ins, they're things like your deliverables, they're things that are actually happening internally in the business, okay? On the business are going to be those things that help the business actually grow. So planning strategy, planning your marketing, things like that are bringing forward momentum to the business, okay? I really love working on the business, and I really love still working in the business, but a lot of my time needs to be spent working on the business to actually build and grow and have momentum. So I think the big thing is that as a CEO, you want to really be 50-50 as you're scaling, and then eventually as you turn more into the visionary, the founder, and the CEO, where you're outsourcing, you have a team in play, that's when you'll start to really bring in more people, and you'll spend more time on the business probably rather than in the business. So I'm kind of currently making that transition right now, and I want to share with you guys how I was able to really make that transition and how I was really able to focus more on stepping into the CEO role. So if you are winging it in business, my guess is that sometimes you probably feel like a chicken with your head cut off, and I've definitely been there myself too. So how we get rid of this? What we have to do is we have to look at different lenses. And when I say this, I think it's gonna make a lot more sense to you guys at looking at it like it's almost in an actual lens. So what you wanna do is you wanna really look at, what is that mission? What is the vision that you have? I find so many coaches overlook this because they're like, oh, I already know my ideal client, I already know my vision, it's fine. Like, what actually got you started? Who do you really want to help? When you know that bigger vision, what you can do is you can set objectives. So objectives are going to be those big things that you really want to accomplish. I personally like to set 2 to 3 objectives with my team on a yearly basis. Okay, so this year, for example, one of the big things for my team is we set a revenue goal. I think one of your biggest objectives should always be revenue focused and monetarily focused, because then what you can do is you can set a second and third objective that actually help quantify or help get you to that monetary objective that you have. Okay, so for example, let's say your company wants to hit $250,000 this year. If that's your first objective, what you probably want to look at is, mastering your sales and building an incredible sales process, or maybe it's something along the lines of like signing, X amount of clients and being able to fulfill for those clients, right? And so you want to be able to set an objective that helps you with getting to that monetary objective, okay? When you have these two things, what it can allow for you to do is then set 90-day game plans. Okay, when you have a 90-day game plan, it takes away the question about what to execute on. When you have a 90-day game plan, you know exactly what projects you need to line up to hit the 90-day game plan. So we have objectives, and then you have your targets. You want to have specific targets for that 90-day game plan. So for example, one of the things that we really wanted to do this quarter as a team was we wanted to be able to evergreen 2 of our offers. And so that specific target meant that we needed to look at, okay, these are the projects that we need to complete. We need to make 30 leads, 30 days evergreen, and we needed to make the organic growth method evergreen, meaning that people can enroll in those 2 courses at any point, which by the way, I will leave the link down below for, because we currently, as you guys watch this video, have these bad boys bundled with a fitness certification, and they are incredible. So we basically wanted to make those evergreen. And so we put that as a project on our 90-day game plan. Now what we can do is every 30 days, we can break down how much of that project do we want to get done. So it's really easy for us on a monthly basis to know the goals that we now have to hit the target. From there, what we do is we ask, okay, if we have a 30-day goal, what do we have to do weekly in order to get there? And what do we have to do daily? As well as whose job is it to do those things? I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they want to get everything done at once. Our team personally is really, really happy with getting 1 to 2 projects done in each division really, really well every single quarter to hit our yearly objectives, instead of trying to get 15 different projects done in a single quarter and then all of them end up being either subpar or they don't fully get done. That's where a lot of people feel overwhelmed. So is it possible that maybe going into this year, you have a revenue goal, you have an objective that supports the revenue goal, and then maybe on a quarterly basis, you have 1 to 2 projects that you can actually implement. Maybe it's you launching a free resource. Maybe it's you launching a challenge. Maybe it's you honing in on your sales process and looking at the different parts of your sales process to say, am I having great conversations with people? Do I have a call booking process that's working well? Do I have a follow-up process that's working well? And maybe that's a single project you work on in just one 90-day execution plan. When you have those objectives for the year, it helps you break down your 90-day targets, your 30-day goals to hit those targets, and then you know how much to be implementing on a weekly basis to get those things done. And that gives you clarity daily on what you need to be doing. When you have bigger targets and bigger goals, you can kind of create little micro commitments throughout the months, throughout the weeks, throughout the days that allow you to feel really clear on what to execute on. Because while you're doing these in the business tasks that keep you in the nitty-gritty, you also need to be working on the business and pushing the needle forward. But if you're trying to work on so many different things to work on the business, it's going to be really hard for you to keep your head on straight. So I found that one of the best ways to do this is to get really clear on the goals that we have, the targets we have, and the objectives, delegate to my team members, understand how we're measuring the success of each project that we have, and then being able to look at, okay, cool, we don't have to worry about anything else because for the next 90 days, that's exactly what we're executing on. We don't have to focus on anything else. We just keep the rinse and repeats in place and we work on this one new thing. Now, if you guys are wondering how the heck do you do this, I actually have a template for a 90-day game plan down below that I'm gonna link for you guys. This is called the Business Blueprint. I created this. It's actually a 5-day mini course, so you're getting more than just the planning document as well. In there, I have a few different things on how to step into the mindset of a CEO, how to stay really organized, how to plan. So we have our dream planner in there, and then we have our 90-day game planning sheet in there as well. There are also a few other things in there on content strategy as well. So make sure you guys check that out, okay? That has everything that you need to really take what I just taught you in this video and apply it straight to your specific business. So if you're struggling with this, if you watch this and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what objectives to set, I don't know what projects I need, that's usually where mentorship comes into play. Because usually if you have goals, but you don't know how to get there, that's where someone can come in and tell you, hey, these are probably the projects you need to be working on in order for you to meet that goal. So if you guys are struggling with that, just shoot me a message over on, I'll leave my Instagram right here for you guys, and I will catch you in the next video.